Agriculture Secretary when we asked her what her message was to the millions of Americans who could lose their SNAP benefits soon.
My message to America is first, the fact that your government is failing you right now. If you are in a position where you can't feed your family and you're relying on that $187 a month for an average family in the SNAP program, that we have failed you.
Later, a federal judge ordered the Agriculture Department to continue paying for food stamps during the shutdown.
That's correspondent Nicole Killian at the White House. Police across the state and country, meanwhile, are saying that officers are boosting patrols around grocery stores following all the recent controversy over SNAP. Police say that they'll keep an eye out for those who may be looking to steal from grocery and retail outlets during the ongoing shutdown. Meriden police, for one, say they're not aware of any incidents in the recent past or those that might be targeted or planned. Police, though, are advising proprietors to review store camera coverage, make sure it's working, check recent footage, and also brief store staff on what to do, among other things, in the event that there is theft. The Israeli military says that the partial remains of 3 bodies returned from Gaza on Thursday did not belong to any hostages held in the Palestinian territory. Israel's accused Hamas of multiple violations of the agreement to this point, claiming that the terrorist group knows the location of the majority of the bodies.
Israel says none of the partial remains returned from Gaza belong to any of the remaining 11 hostages. The news followed an overnight examination at Israel's main forensic institute in Tel Aviv. The remains of 2 confirmed hostages were returned on Thursday, but Israel still accuses Hamas of dragging its feet.
BBC correspondent Paul Adams is in Jerusalem. Funding of the Bristol public school system is a focus of the race for mayor. Democrat and former mayor Ellen Zampo-Sassu is trying to win her old job back. She says Republican incumbent Jeff Cajano has left the schools short.
They have been systemically underfunded by this administration for 4 years, and that's not me talking. That is the audit that was conducted in February of 25, that the city of Bristol has continued to reduce appropriations for special education and regular education.
Cajano says that that's not the case.
But this year alone, we gave the school system $6.6 million new dollars to fully fund special education and the overall education system. We fully funded education, and we covered special education underfunding by the state for the first time in 15 years.
There's been another arrest in a street takeover last spring in Ansonia.
On Friday, police picked up 21-year-old Joseph Yeager of Meriden. Yeager is alleged to have been part of that large group that gathered April 26th on Wakely Avenue. Between 50 and 100 people were reported to have been part of the gathering, along with several dozen vehicles. Ansonia police say Yeager is believed to have been the individual caught on dash cam video jumping on the hood of an officer's cruiser. He's charged with riot, conspiracy, breach of peace, and racing. Yeager's bond was set at $100,000, and he's due back in court November 25th in Derby. John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
WTIC weather.
Partly sunny for today, blustery, the high 56, and partly cloudy for tonight, less wind. Definitely on the chilly side, down to 35. A chilly start for tomorrow, and we'll have plenty of sunshine, the high up to 55. And Monday, some sun given way to clouds. Perhaps a shower during the afternoon and evening, the high up to 58. This is meteorologist John Feerick in the WTIC Weather Center.
For these stories and more, you can find us online at WTIC.com as we get ready for another Computer Talk with Tab. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
The 46th Annual Fall Home Show presented by Xfinity is #1 for folks who want to get stuff done because every top pro is right there. So you can stop looking and start booking. It's time-saving, money-saving, hassle-free home improvement down every aisle and loads of cool, innovative new products to make any DIYer's day too. November 1st and 2nd, right in the Connecticut Convention Center in downtown Hartford. The Fall Home Show presented by Xfinity. Find out everything at jenksproductions.com.
The Peter L. Brown Company is known for quality vinyl siding. Our price includes all labor and materials to complete your job, unlike some companies that offer low-cost vinyl siding but have hidden charges. For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Peter L. Brown, we do it right the first time.
Tune in to How to Retire with Fuchs Financial.
The main thing for the majority of the listeners out there who are approaching retirement is I don't want to be surprised.
Helping you build, preserve, and manage your wealth.
So you've got Roth IRAs, you have individual accounts. Finding the right taxable strategy, that's going to be huge for you.
Tune in to How to Retire with Ben Fuchs, Sundays at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. right here on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Retirement should be about living, not worrying. At Retirement Income Source Scranton Financial Group, we build custom portfolios designed to generate steady income through interest and dividends, so your money works for you. Call us at 855-930-6293.
Investment advisory services offered by Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisory firm. The Retirement Income Source and Sound Income Strategies are associated entities. Retirement Income Source with David Scranton is a paid program.
This is WTIC's Computer Talk with Tab, hosted by Eric Semmel and Dennis Halnon of Tab Computer Systems. Interact with Eric and Dennis by phone at 860-522-9842 or email them in the studio at gethelp@tabinc.com. Get help anytime at computertalkwithtab.com. Now, here are Eric and Dennis on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And good morning. This is Computer Talk with Tab. I'm Eric.
And I'm Dennis.
And we're going to be here until 11 o'clock, taking your computer calls, comments, questions, and concerns. So feel free to get online. And also at 10 o'clock, we expect a guest, Peter Kelly Detweiler. He was supposed to be on last Saturday, and he apologized profusely after he just... Stuff happens, right? Life happens. So we were just happy he was okay.
Yeah.
We're getting worried about him.
Yeah.
He'll be joining us at 10 o'clock, and we'll talk energy. The issue of energy, how basically technology companies are going to just make it happen anyways, and what that might mean for us as energy consumers. So we're looking forward to that at 10 o'clock. So feel free to get online. 860-522-9842 is the number. And as usual and customary, we have some technology news out there, of course.
Yeah, we do. As you put it earlier, Microsoft had a hold my beer moment.
They really did.
They did. As we all remember last week, the news was the Amazon or AWS outage.
Yeah.
That was caused by DNS being misapplied.
And misconfigured to the point where even the fix caused it to cascade further.
Caused it to cascade and make it worse. Yeah. Right. Now, what happened with Microsoft was there was a 365 or Azure outage, and it had rippling effects through a lot of different things that Microsoft has, because so many things are dependent on their own Azure infrastructure. In other words, they depend on their own product,
right?
In addition to having us depend on it,
right?
And that's ironically what happened with AWS too. They use their own Route 53 service to manage their own DNS. Anyway, and guess what? According to Microsoft's own admission in the wake of recovery, this was a DNS problem.
Really? They don't know how DNS works either.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't really give the details of it.
They never do.
But there had to have been some kind of a DNS host name out there that was misdirected.
Right.
And that was causing other problems. And I wonder if the misdirection was taking place in a way that caused their own DNS recovery to fail, which is exactly what happened with AWS.
Yeah.
We
don't know because they're not being
for sure in this
forthcoming.
case. I'll give credit to Amazon because, as I mentioned last week, they published a paper explaining exactly what happened.
Yeah.
With timestamps and everything. Microsoft hasn't put out anything like that, so we don't really know the details.
And the outage, again, massive. So basically Azure, this is where people log in. This is Microsoft 365. This is all sorts of services and business and companies are impacted by this. And you were sold that the cloud is supposed to be redundant and supposed to keep you up and running. It's supposed to be 99.9999, 4 nines, right?
Well, you know what? Yeah. All of that redundancy depends on, drumroll please, DNS.
It sure does.
And if the DNS is messed up, there is no recovery, there is no failover, there is no nothing.
Right. So you're basically in the same boat you would have been had you had your own server somewhere on-prem.
Right, and it shut down on you or something.
Right. Yeah. So again, you got to do the math. How do you fix this? So how do you deal with this issue? So do you repatriate and bring your stuff back on-prem?
Well, a lot of companies are doing that.
They are. They really are. Or do you buy a second cloud to back up your first cloud, thus doubling your already ridiculously expensive rental in the cloud? That's probably not something most companies want to do.
No.
So folks are considering repatriation. This is the typical companies pay IT people to put their servers up, take their servers down, put them in the cloud, take them back out of the cloud. Where do you want to go? How do you want to protect it? Oh, you need more protection? You're doing DoD work? We got to put you on Microsoft 365. It's $120 per user per year. Oh, you're doing DoD work? Well, that's $450 per user per year. Oh, why is it so much more expensive? Well, because at $120, you're probably not that secure. Your data could be anywhere, right? So the cloud is becoming a problem. And now the funny thing is people are starting to actually ask these questions that we've been talking about for almost a decade as the cloud started to become more and more of a thing. And we are happy to put you wherever you want to be, right? We would give you the pros and cons if you're a business of where you should go, where you shouldn't go. There are economies of scale that does make sense for small companies to put their email on Microsoft 365 if it doesn't cost you $500 a seat.
Especially because email by definition is internet facing.
Right.
So if you don't use a cloud service for mail, you've got to have something in your office which is internet facing.
Right.
Which carries risks.
Right. So there's that. And so we'll work with customers on trying to help them on which direction they should go. But it's quite interesting just to see, again, Microsoft tells AWS, hold my beer, I'll take the internet down. I'll show you how I can take the internet down for you. In other news, EY, which I think is Ernst & Young, I'm 99% sure, exposes a 4 terabyte SQL database open to the internet for who knows how long. So this is one of the big 4 accounting firms. A Dutch cybersecurity outfit says its lead researcher recently stumbled upon a 4 terabyte SQL Server backup file belonging to Ernst & Young, exposed on the web, actively leaking the accounting and consulting megacorp secrets. So again, this is back to the cloud, right? When it was inside Ernst & Young servers, the ability to do this was much harder for folks to inadvertently put massive databases out there for folks to take a look at. But here, somebody put somebody's SQL database. In the case, one of its engineers was caught being lazy during a database migration. So they didn't want to deal with the extra hassles. They simply set up a bucket to public for 5 minutes and downloaded the SQL database. But that's the problem, right? When these techs don't follow proper process and procedure, make it easy for themselves, stick it out there. I was going to move it over here for a second. Who knows how long it was sitting there? And so now your data is sitting wildly out there, exposed to whoever knows who's going to stumble upon it, download it for their own taking now. Who knows if somebody took it? That's the other problem is you don't even know who's had access to it.
Right. All that's known is that the data was exposed.
Right.
Yep.
And they're always going to say, well, there's no evidence anybody's done anything with that data until somebody tells Maine. Right, Maine will tell you. So we'll put the link up here to the story. But this is the issue again with the cloud. and technicians in general. Technicians will always find the path of least resistance, unfortunately.
Oh, yes. And there's a company called Reputation.com.
Yeah.
That does reputation cleanup for people.
Right.
And a little bit of consulting also.
Mm-hmm.
They had a hold my beer moment for Ernst & Young because they exposed a massive database of log files to the internet. Same kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there, available in clear text.
Wide open for you to peruse.
If you were the type
So
of person
inclined.
to go look for things like that.
Right. And there's tons of people out there that do it for good purposes and for poor purposes.
So a rim shot,
Yeah.
Reputation.com just took a hit to its reputation.
Yes, but we're going to be here until 11 o'clock. Feel free to get online. Nobody's on the calls with us right now. Lines are wide open, squeaky clean. Matt's producing this morning, so give him something to do. 860-522-9842 is the number. Feel free to get online with your computer comments, questions, and concerns. And then, of course, at 10 o'clock, our energy expert will be with us. He promises. He did. He promises. He'll be here with us to talk energy, and we'll talk about data centers and how these massive tech companies are just going to start building their own nuclear power plants right on site. We'll be right back.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
The law firm of Brown, Pinderis & Scott reminds you to set your clocks back 1 hour tonight.
I believe I heard Eric Semmel on the radio and then heard that he was from Tab Computer Systems, and I gave him a call.
That's Bruce Cloder, president of Swiss Cleaners and Uniform Services. He had problems with his computer network.
Our business runs 5 different servers for our different profit centers, and our network was complex to the point where we had different businesses going on in our server room. Tab understood them all and was able to take care of us.
How well has Tab taken care of Swiss Cleaners' computer network?
They have a great service department. Anytime I call, anytime I email, anytime I communicate, they immediately respond appropriately. We've been using them for 14 years, and in our business, we cannot operate without our network being up. And I'm proud to say that thanks to Tab Computer Systems, we've never been down.
Trust Tab's nearly 4 decades of experience. Call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, or visit tabinc.com. Technology's advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From the Carter Mario Injury Lawyer Studios, visit GetCarter.com.
That's GetCarter.com. This is Computer Talk.
And we are back. This is all fake music, by the way. Not a human involved in this, other than telling the AI to make this.
Do it.
Oh, my goodness. I just love this stuff. So we're going to be here till 11 o'clock. And we're going to help you out with your computer problems, comments, questions, and concerns. So feel free to get online. And lines are wide open, 860-522-9842. As we wait for your calls, though, this is something that I've been chatting about and thinking about. I'm no expert. I'm not the sharpest tack in the drawer or the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to this stuff. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I still think Bitcoin is going to be a massive disappointment for lots of people. But who am I to know? But in this case, this story happens to be, confirmation bias alert, AI bubble to deflate as enterprises defer spending to 2027. So this is an article in Forrester, which is talking about these larger organizations are going to defer a quarter of all planned AI spending from next year until 2027.
Huh.
Yeah.
Any particular reasoning for this?
Well, again, it's expensive,
True.
number one. They're not really sure about the actual efficacy of the AI. Lots of work slop. Lots of work
tons
slop.
of it.
I'm hearing from my wife about the work slop that's out there. Folks are trying to use AI to produce all sorts of things, emails that then you got to read your email that AI produced, please, because if it doesn't make any sense, and that's what's really happening. So there's this ton of work slop being created out there where you have to actually have something that you're fixing, some way to save money, some way to reduce staff. Now, just like forcing everybody to go back into the office is a way to reduce headcount in your organizations without actually having to fire anybody or lay anybody off. They, COVID, go work from home. Oh, we want you back in the office. Well, then people just quit on their own if they don't want to do that. Same thing here with AI. Oh, we're gonna lay people off because of AI is what the excuse is. But are they really getting any benefit from the AI or not?
Right.
And this is a Forrester researcher that says basically bigger companies are actually pushing off till 2027 a quarter of their AI applications or spend. And again, AI is a thing. We agree.
Oh, sure. It's got its uses.
But we'll have to see. Back in June, Gartner predicts that 40% of agentic AI projects would be canceled by 2027. So agentic basically is, the way I understand it, imagine if you're talking to, I'll just keep it simple, an insurance type of agency, right, where you're going to reach out and ask questions and you're talking to a bot. An agentic AI who's acting as an agent, not just an insurance agent, but it's just easy for you to think about it that way. Answering questions about maybe your policy or what you could add. And it's AI, it's not humans, back and forth.
Right.
And maybe they're finding that those types of interactions aren't that good. I was trying to buy a car recently, and I thought I was talking to a bot because of the responses I was getting. And I'm kind of skeptical. And there was a text back and forth between an agent, between a dealership, and I'm going back and forth. And I thought it was a bot because of how they responded. So generically, they never really helped me. Heck, they lost the business. But companies are seeing that these agentic AIs may not really deliver what you hope they deliver. Could they solve basic questions and basic problems? Sure. Could they maybe help you book a hotel room? Could they help you maybe book a flight? Could they help you? Maybe. But back in June, like I said, Gartner predicted 40%. So that's a big drop in all this. Hey, yay, rah, let's go AI. Let's replace humans. Let's get these new folks in here. Not have these new folks in here and just use technology. Well, if they're already canceling just as AI is a thing, maybe it's not quite a thing.
Maybe not.
So we'll put the link up here for you. Bain estimated the current spending trajectories on AI data centers, about $500 billion a year, would require the tech sector to generate $2 trillion. And we talked about this too. Is it even possible to generate $2 trillion in revenue to cover the $500 billion a year you need in spending to put these AI data centers together? So again, there's a math problem too. That's a lot of revenue you need to have people.
True.
I don't know. Again, not the sharpest tack in the drawer. Maybe it's completely wrong, but we'll put the links here for you. A study from Carnegie Mellon University showed AI agents only succeeded 30 to 35% of the time on multi-step tasks.
Oh.
I mean, I can get a Gen Zer to work better than that.
I was going to say, you could pull a slacker off the street and get that much.
So only 30 to 35% really is not a good thing. But we'll put the link up here for you. You can read it yourself. So, anything else you want to bring up, Dennis, while we wait for calls?
Yeah, it looks like the technical world on YouTube is having some problems.
Oh, boy.
A lot of tech video creators are finding that their videos are being pulled on the grounds that they're dangerous and promote harmful acts.
Okay, I mean, we'd want that to be done if that's the case.
Right, I mean, if they're showing how to build a bomb, okay. Yeah, we don't want that out.
Right.
Now, what these videos are things like workarounds for Windows 7 technical requirements, like showing you how to get your computer to get Windows 11 if it's not officially supported on your device, or workarounds for the problem of having to sign into a new computer with a Microsoft account in order to set up the computer.
So YouTube is pulling these.
They're pulling these on the grounds that they're dangerous and promote harmful acts.
Well, that doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't, especially because, drum roll please, there is a content analysis engine that these creators are using that YouTube provides to them. Among other things that it tells them in their dashboard is suggested content that they can create. Because YouTube knows what people are looking for.
Right. They've got the algorithm. They see what Dennis is looking for.
They see what the searches are that are being submitted, and they'll throw this out at the creators and say, hey, make videos that show this, whatever it is.
Right.
Well, some of the suggested videos are ones that they pulled.
So their algorithm is telling
the creators
them to
do this and then yanking them.
Clearly, there's a problem internally as far as the two departments.
Oh, yeah. One hand does not talk to the other. Are you kidding me?
But that's really crazy. So Google and Microsoft, they're not friends.
No, they're not. They're not, which is another angle to this whole story, because people are wondering why. Right. What is the payoff for Google to do this?
Yeah.
And it's not really apparent. The one thing that Google has said is that these videos were not pulled by an AI engine.
Right, human did it.
The human moderators made the decision to pull the plug on these videos.
Maybe it's just a cranky dude, and if they got some serious power, or there's some sort of Microsoft apologist,
Maybe. I don't know.
Dangerous. Well, we can talk about Microsoft apologists and talk about Bill Gates and his finally waking up to global warming, but we can cover that later. We'll put the links there to all the stories we just talked about over on computertalkwithtab.com. It's the name of the show.com, which also works. Mike G is posting everything to our X feed over at Tab Computer Sys and our Facebook page. If you want to be a part of that Facebook page, it's the Computer Talk with Tab Listener Network. Just ask to join, and if you're not a crackpot, we'll let you in. We'll be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
And now, a WTIC news update.
9:30, Hartford temperature is 51 degrees. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News. The Trump administration has until Monday afternoon at 5 to respond to the ruling Friday that SNAP benefits should continue as the government shutdown moves forward. Benefits have not been added to EBT cards, though. A quadruple shooting earlier this morning in the area of Church and Center Streets in New Haven kills one person, leaves 3 others injured. Early voting continues today and ends tomorrow in this year's municipal elections. There will be no early voting Monday, but the traditional election day will continue as planned, and that will be Tuesday this week, November 4th. Connecticut State Police say that a person reported missing Friday near Main Street in New Hartford turned up dead in the Farmington River. State Police have not released any other information, including a name for that victim. And Israel says that the remains of 3 people handed over by Hamas Friday to the Red Cross did not belong to any of the hostages who needed to be released.
WTIC weather.
Partly sunny for today, a little bit on the blustery side, the high 56, and when you factor in the wind, it's going to feel like the 40s much of the time, so we will need to bundle up a little bit as we turn the clocks back tonight. We'll dial the wind back a little bit as well. Partly cloudy, down to 35. A lot of outlying spots, though, dipping below the freezing mark. So definitely starting out on the chilly side for tomorrow. But we'll rebound to 55 with a good deal of sunshine. And then another chilly night for tomorrow night. Monday, some sun giving way to clouds. There could be a shower or two during the afternoon and evening. A high up to 58. And then Tuesday, it'll be blustery again, but we'll have a good deal of sunshine, the high 57. Wednesday doesn't look too bad. Times of clouds and sun, the high 56. And we can see a couple of showers as we head into Wednesday night, and then we should dry out again later in the week. This is meteorologist John Feerick in the WTIC Weather Center.
More Computer Talk with Tab is next. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
Women face unique challenges in retirement planning. Claire Hare is Senior Vice President of Hackman Wealth Partners. Claire, what are some of the biggest financial challenges women face?
So the top 3 that I would identify are, 1, knowing how to re-enter the workforce after a break. 2, catching up on retirement savings. Definitely need to know which investments to choose. 3, understand that women live longer than men on average and they need to save more money. Our team specializes in guiding women through life's transitions with personalized strategies that grow with you.
Call for a comprehensive review next 5 at no cost, no obligation. 860-321-6800. 860-321-6800. 860-321-6800. Call now, 860-321-6800.
Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Discussion of safe and secure products and guaranteed income plans refer only to fixed insurance products that are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance company.
Education from the best universities in the world. Experience more than 25 years. Address 12 locations throughout Connecticut. Communication skills. Speak more than 30 languages. Scope of practice. Complete multi-dental specialties. Awards and achievements. Innovative in-house digital lab. Interests. Making dental prosthesis in the same day. Hobby. Working 365 days a year. This is our resume. ColumbiaDental.com. Open 7 days a week. 860-645-0111.
Brian Shackman here for QC Kinetics. You know, more and more people these days are taking control of their health, looking beyond traditional medicine. That's why QC Kinetics is doing so well. People with chronic joint pain are learning that there are other options besides steroids, meds, and surgery. You can get lasting relief using advanced cellular treatments. QC Kinetics, they use regenerative medicine, revitalizes your joints using growth factors from your own body. We're talking hips, knees, back, whatever. Whether it's illness or injury, they can give you long-term relief with no downtime. That's right, no drugs, no surgery. And by the way, this November, QC Kinetics honoring our veterans, offering $500 off a full treatment plan as their way of saying thank you for your service. And also, by the way, for everybody, your first consultation is totally free. So if you are a little bit unsure, you go in there, you learn about it. If it's for you, great. Either way, you learn something about your body and you could get long-term relief from your pain. It's QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. Again, 860-440-PAIN. They have locations in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. 860-440-PAIN.
It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock is here with tips to help protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication on your accounts, report phishing, and update your software on all your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, LifeLock is your best choice. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious uses of your personal information, but also fixes identity theft, guaranteed, or your money back. So stay smart, stay safe, and stay protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK. Terms do apply.
Not sure what to get him this holiday? You can't go wrong with a gift from Untuck It. Every guy wants to unwrap our best-selling, wrinkle-free, and performance styles. From polished shirts for holiday parties to cozy layers for family photos, you'll find everything he needs to look sharp and feel comfortable all day and night. So, get a head start on your holiday gift list. Early holiday sale happening now. Find the perfect gift for everyone on your list at untuckit.com and more than 80 stores worldwide. Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn, untucked.
Did you miss Computer Talk with Tab on Saturday? Listen to the podcast on WTIC.com/podcast.
There you go. Fake music. This person doesn't exist. It's crazy. We'll put a link up to this fake music site. I love it. I don't know why I do. I love it. Yes, I know musicians that are out there that are pretty mad about the technology.
Well, sure.
And I hear you. I support musicians big time. Actually, speaking of that, we have a couple of community concerts coming up. I'll be performing with the Plainville community band, adult band, but we all wear our clothes. And we're going to be at Plainville High School, 2 o'clock concert, Sunday. Sunday.
Okay.
Free. It's free, of course. We're just happy to have somebody to play for, something to do as musicians. And then, of course, Southington Symphonic Band will be playing at John F. Kennedy Middle School at 7 o'clock in Southington. So if you want to check out adults and kids, of course, it's a community band, and we're just happy to be able to have a way to express our musicianship and appreciative crowds. So they're both free. Stop on by. And there's so many great community bands out there. Please support them. They're working hard. And it's great to have an audience that is appreciative. Let's get to your calls. We're going to go to Joe in Chester first. What's happening, Joe?
Hey, I just want to say thank you for helping us sunset our Windows 10. We tried to do the update on mine, and it wouldn't let us go in, and unless we bought new stuff and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me a wonderful joy to just go all the way over into iOS, which I understand like a native language. And I was just so thrilled to kick the Microsoft to the curb. It really brought me a lot of joy. I remember one time I couldn't do an update, and I wanted to throw it through the window in the back of the house, and my wife said that it'll only make you feel good for about a minute. And but you guys were really great on the sunsetting of that. I only want to say one other thing. I wrote for a living. I was a ghostwriter for medical, and I don't have an MBA. I did finance and everything for big guys and everything like that. And there was always a trepidation going in and realizing you're going to have to write an article for this guy, and all you can do is ask who, what, when, where, why, how.
Right.
And I kind of approach what you guys do the same way, having to go in and ask the right questions and just realize that you got to come out the other end somehow and figure it all out. And so this is why the show is just terrific with regards to that. And it was so helpful with just a final decision on the Windows 10 to try what you said, but then realize that, like Mason said to Dixon, sometimes you got to draw the line somewhere. And I was just, Microsoft, it was a little bit of a bullying kind of thing that we saw in some ways. And anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention very, very quickly is my wife is fantastic at Audacity. We've taken some vinyl that never saw the light of day again. Will never see the light of day again. They almost must have used it as a plate to eat off of or something. And she has brought these things back to pristine shape. It blows my mind. I know it's probably 1990s technology or whatever, but it's amazing. You just played an AI.
Yes.
And I know Randy Travis had an AI out that sounded pretty great. But we're talking about like really perfectly cleaning up a vinyl. And, it's the little joys of some of the stuff that you talk about. And then we even made a jewel case for it, resized the photography of it and everything. And it'll honestly never see re-release. There are some things on on Apple and Spotify that will never be re-released. So it's just that. You know what it is? It's almost like going and restoring that old piece of furniture in your basement and putting it back up in the living room and saying, "Wow!" You know, it's like it's a real high to have stuff like that.
I agree. Yeah, and you're able to use the technology, and you're taking out the snap, crackles, and pops, right, that were on that vinyl to produce that cleaner sound.
And there was only one issue on one of them, and that was that you just couldn't get the stylus to play through one part, and we did the old trick of a dime, a nickel, and a penny to see if we could get one playthrough, and then you could clean it up even from there. And I think it was on the fourth try that one thing came through. Now it's perfection. It's just it's
awesome.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So actually, to use vinyl, I never even knew that trick. I mean, my
putting coins on.
No, so I basically started with cassette tapes. My mom.
You haven't lived, Eric.
My mom had vinyl, and she would play her ABBA, and of course that stuck with me. But I never had to fix it. I just had to use the pencil to get the tape back into the cassette. But a very cool job.
Did you ever think it was going to come back like it did, the vinyl?
Some people are such audiophiles. They want to hear all that depth. And why not, right? Why not? There's so many people who actually can hear it. CDs were really, that was the whole thing. It had the best image, the best audio quality. Then you look at MP3s, which you kind of ripped it all out. You're missing all sorts of information when you're listening to MP3s. Now everything is kind of streamed, and I think we're still missing a lot of that information, that depth of quality. So yeah, I do think for folks who are really audiophiles and they really want to hear the music, why not? Because it was a great way to get some of the best sound out there. And you can still buy those turntables. You can buy them and plug them in via USB.
Yeah. Well, positively, my last thought here is that I asked my son why he went into vinyl, and he said, "I want the packaging. I want to sit down and I want to read the liner notes." And
that was a great thing too.
Yeah.
You sit there, you'd open that thing up, and you read about all the music. You'd read the lyrics, because heck, when all that went away, I used to think Elton John was saying electric boobs. Not electric moves. No, maybe it was because I was 12 when I heard it, but I mean, right? So if you had the vinyl, you could actually read the actual lyrics. Now they're actually printing the lyrics as you actually watch the YouTubes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But man, that was a whole thing. You'd sit back, you'd have the smell of the LP. Oh man, it was such a great thing.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you again. You guys were so great. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Joe. We're glad we could help. All right, so that's Joe. And the technology, one of the things that I've seen the memes about, I'm sure all of us feel the same way, as Gen Xers, right? So we bought the music when it was on vinyl, then we bought it again when it was on tape, and then we bought it again when it was on CD, and then we bought it again when it was in an MP3. I don't know how many times I paid for the Rush albums, but I probably paid for those things 6 times over, right? So every time the media changes, you're like, okay, here's another $20.
Another wave of the same music.
Yeah,
right.
But that's great. So nickel and dime, you did that, huh, Dennis? You were actually using to fix your little...
put coins on the stylus in order to keep them held down while they're going over.
Oh my goodness!
And then it was fun having to use like dishwasher to clean up the records and all that.
All the junk and the dust and stuff.
Yeah,
all those nice snap crackle. Pops.
Wasn't that great? No, it wasn't. But we did it,
and it was fun. Let's go to David in Vernon. What's going on, David?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Doing okay. Right. How are you?
So within the last month, I dropped my tablet one too many times, and it no more, no mas.
Yeah.
So I went out and bought a new one, and I was basically allowed. I mean, everything transferred over from my old tablet, which was fine, and I the version that came with it, as far as with Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
So they gave me like 30 days and then expired. So I went down to the local Staples and I said, hey, I don't want to do a subscription with these guys. Is there any software package I can buy just for this simple? So the guys sold me Office Home.
Sure.
Okay.
So Office Home 2024,
nice.
And it says 1PC/Mac.
Yeah.
Yes.
On the back, you scratch off the thing so you can get to the code.
Yeah.
And all it says is go to office.com/setup.
Right.
And I did that. And then after that, it just loops me into a bunch of circles.
Were you doing this yesterday?
Last weekend, I believe.
Oh, last weekend.
Last
All right.
Yesterday had to do with the
Well,
outage,
yesterday
right?
Microsoft had an outage, so I was thinking that you might have had a problem because of that. But no, this isn't it. Office, you go to office.com/setup, and it doesn't really load the page. It should invite you to put in a product key.
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, so you got
and then
to
all
that
of a sudden,
point.
I don't know if the next page was like Copilot or something else, but I got to my Excel spreadsheet, and it wasn't the format that my spreadsheets are in. It was like, I don't know. It was like it didn't have any lines on it, and the font was different. It just wasn't the same part, and I couldn't do anything with it. It was like a read-only file.
So you brought up an Excel you brought up Microsoft Excel, and you brought up an actual Excel form, and you're having a hard time using it. How old was that Excel? Was it created in the 2000 version of Office? How old is that Excel file you're using?
That I don't know.
That's okay.
Actually, it probably it's this one particular file that I opened is information that I've been adding to.
Yeah.
Every year, every month for every year.
Right.
And so I think it goes back to 2004.
Okay. It could just be that's having trouble converting it. Possibly. Dennis is puzzling on this. I see his puzzling on it.
What you might want to do is do a file save as, give it a different name so that it's distinct from the original. You don't want to destroy the original.
Right.
Sure.
But save it in the latest Excel worksheet version with .xlsx as the extension. And just have the current version save the file new distinctly.
Right.
Then close the file, reopen that new one, and see what it does.
See if it populates.
Okay.
Most likely it's having trouble converting. Maybe you used a weird font originally. Maybe it knows better than you.
There might be a font that's called for in the original
that you don't have on your tablet.
Exist on the tablet.
Yeah.
And that can mess it up. You can do font substitution, I believe. We'll look for a way to do that, where you literally tell Excel, font A that I no longer have is now going to be font B that I do have. We'll find a way to do that.
But try that. So don't try to stay away from your original.
Right.
And
sure.
Create a new one and see if you can mess with that one. Because if it busts your original, it could really cause issues if you don't have a backup.
Right. No, I'm with you on that.
All right, David. So we'll put some links
All right.
up there to have you try.
All right. Appreciate it.
You got it, sir.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye. We're going to step out for a quick break, get to your calls. Fred and Joe, hang on. We'll get to you before the top of the hour, I hope. And then at 10 o'clock, Peter Kelly Detweiler will talk energy and how your local IT department might be working on your nuclear power. We'll be right back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-455-9311. 800-455-9311. Again, that's 800-455-9311.
Hi, Dave Berger from Modern Plumbing Supply. Over the years, the bathroom has gone by many names. The French called it the smelly house, the Egyptians, the House of Horrors. If either of these describe your bathroom, well then it's time to visit Modern Plumbing Supply. Let our seasoned staff assist you in selecting the perfect items to transform your bathroom into your own personal oasis. Now, doesn't that sound much better? Modern Plumbing Supply on the Berlin Turnpike in Berlin.
Great design with you in mind. Modern Plumbing Supply.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248 today.
Did you miss Computer Talk with Tab on Saturday? Listen to the podcast on WTIC.com/podcast.
You gotta love AI.
ABBA.
Yeah. That's Matt. That's why he's the producer that he is, man. Fake music. These people don't exist. The singers don't exist. The musicians don't exist. It's crazy. It's crazy how good it sounds. Maybe I have no taste because I've had some real musicians tell me that it sounds awful, and I trust their taste. So maybe it's me, but I just think it's so cool. Real quick update too on that Microsoft outage that we didn't bring up. This is kind of unique. Alaska Airlines, in a statement on its website, said that both Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines are currently experiencing a disruption to key systems, including their websites, due to their reliance on the Microsoft Azure platform.
Yeah,
this is unique.
Explicitly pointing fingers. This does not happen.
Right, and we have these stories all the time about cloud outages where the actual people writing the articles never use the word cloud. And we're like, do you know what you're talking about? Well, now these companies who are paying for Microsoft Cloud are saying, look, we're sorry you can't book. It's not us. It is you guys in the airlines. I'm sorry. It is still your fault. What did you do? Well, you chose Microsoft Azure and didn't consider a backup. How would you have people check in if this is down? What's your failover? That's where the real failure is, along with Microsoft's Azure outage that happened. So we'll put that link up there for you as well. But that is unique. And to me, it's kind of like, finally. Why has it always been me for the past 30 years talking about this stuff? I'm just a cranky consumer. Let's go to Fred in Southington next. What's happening, Fred?
Good morning. I'm thinking about buying or replacing an 11-year-old desktop. We have a laptop that we use. It's 2 years old. It runs great. The desktop is running good, but it's a little bit on the old side. Not gamers or anything, just general, some shopping, some keeping track of finances and spreadsheets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, the 11-year-old's running great, but looking for suggestions.
All right. Well, simply put, we would recommend an i5 Ultra processor these days, 16 gigs of RAM, a half a terabyte to a terabyte of solid-state hard drive, and it'll cost you about $1,000, and it'll probably give you another. We always promise 6 years is what you want to get out of a system. You've got 11. I can't promise another 11.
Right.
But you should get at least 6+ years out of a typical system, and a little over $1,000. And you can get them in these compact form factors. We like the Asus Nook line of compact form factors, which is kind of nice. It's like a little brick that would sit on your desk. It's no longer these monster machines.
Okay. So Best Buy a good place to go, or
you can check that. Staples. They should have these compact form factor machines out there for you to look at and touch and feel. But i5 is definitely the minimum. If you have a little extra cash, maybe an i7. But what you told us you're doing, I don't think you'd even need that.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You got it, Fred. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, i5 is that.
Yeah.
It's the the Honda Accord of levels of computers, as far as I'm concerned. Let's get Joe in here real quick. What's going on, Joe?
Hi. I got a notice saying that
Office 19 is going or is not supported anymore.
It is not.
What's the difference between home and business?
The home office product does not have Outlook.
Okay.
Which is an email client.
It's an email client. If you're not connected with an Exchange server, you're not going to be getting all of the benefits of using Outlook anyway, so you may not need it.
Right.
But if let's say you work for a company and you'd like to get that email account on there and it is an Exchange or a 365 account, you're probably going to appreciate Outlook. Yeah. And I would shell out the extra money for that.
Yeah, so get the business
But
flavor.
only in that case. Right.
Okay. Now, okay, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
All right, you got it, Joe.
Okay.
Bye. Yes, not Office 19, 60, all those older versions are quote unquote
19 and older are now end of life.
End of life. Microsoft.
21 and forward are still supported.
Yes, we can't, as geeks, we can't remember how all these systems even work to be able to help you. And for Microsoft, even though as far as I'm concerned, they keep retreading the same software, for them to keep patching the 16 and the 19, along with the 21 and the 22 and the 24, it can be cumbersome, even though it's all retreaded from what I can tell.
Yeah, it is a lot for them to have to do.
Yeah. Wah. So, and again, it's the bane of our existence in IT, right? So we try to spend most of our life keeping your system stable and up and running. Uptime is key and important to our customers and to us as far as IT people. But then Microsoft says, well, by the way, you got to replace all your machines and you got to run new software. There's nothing more destabilizing than having to do that. And then change your Office suite. Oh, now your old 2016, the way that used to looks completely different in 2024.
Right.
Or 365. Again, destabilizing. Causes more issues for your people. And Microsoft, it really isn't in the business of making sure it looks and feels the same or gives you the least disruption. They're just like, here, this is the new feature. Here's what you're going to do.
Yeah, it's whatever they want you to do.
Right.
And it's really, a lot of it is very arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just weird decision-making that takes place in Redmond, but that's what they do.
Yes. Well, at least now you've seen companies that are a little tired of it, and they're actually calling them out specifically. And again, we're talking about, too, maybe we can get a warranty finally on software, which is something that really needs to happen, that has a real value in it, real consequences when your software... What is Alaska Airlines' fallback to get anything from Microsoft Azure? They're going to give them a credit probably to their downtime of not being available, but to thousands of people trying to fly, that doesn't matter.
Right. All of those people who are inconvenienced are going to get nothing.
Right.
Not from Alaska Airlines and not from Microsoft.
And we can just, it's the year 2025, we're looking to improve things technologically. The cloud was supposed to promise that. I'm just asking. I'm just a geek. I'm just, I know I've gotten so much hate mail for being so down on the cloud. It's not that. It's this. If the cloud is so good, why are we having entire airlines having outages? Whereas before the cloud, you'd have these big mainframes and these old systems that were local and on-prem, and they work. Now, there is some pretty cool technology that with having the cloud connectivity, you might know where your bags are, or if they're lost, you can go look on your phone to see if your bags are getting from point A to point B. And that's nice, I guess, but you'll find that out too when you land.
True.
Do I need to know? Do I need to know my bags have made the plane? I don't know. I guess they think you do. So we're going to be here till 11 o'clock. We're looking forward to our conversation with Peter Kelly Detweiler. He is an energy expert. We've had him on before talking about how electricity works, because here in Connecticut, we don't know. Just look at your electric bill if you're curious. But more importantly, we want to talk to Peter about all these alternative energies that are going to be coming along thanks to data centers and the AI quote-unquote boom, where these AI data centers need the energy, and you and I don't want to pay for it for them. I can tell you that. So we'll see what happens and what Peter's take is on these SMRs and all these natural gas generation that's going to be happening. I mean, Pratt & Whitney's going to find a whole new life for all those old jet engines. We're going to step out for a quick break. We'll be right back.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 10 o'clock, Hartford, temperature 51 degrees. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News. In the WTIC traffic network, we see that we have in Bridgeport a crash on I-95 northbound side. The two right lanes closed between exits 26 and 27. That was reported about 10 minutes ago. And we see construction in Newington, by the way, something to look out for on the southbound side of Route 9. The right lane taken out between exits 38 and 36. Two judges rule that the Trump administration must use emergency funds to pay for food assistance. They have until Monday afternoon, the federal government that is, to respond at 5 o'clock Monday. Despite any changes involving court orders and disputes over that, Connecticut Food Share says anybody in need of food assistance should visit their local food pantry or a mobile food truck for help. CEO Jason Jakubowski says that Food Share has seen an increase in demand in the last month.
There's a psychological effect of all of this. We've seen increases at the beginning of October, and then the things that, things we've been seeing since the beginning of the shutdown that it's not as big of a headline now, but the federal workers. I mean, we've been helping them for the last month or so. We have a mobile truck going up to Bradley Airport and to Tweed, New Haven once a week.
It's important to note that food is not distributed to individuals at Food Share's facilities in Wallingford or Bridgeport. Those two facilities are used to get food to the local pantries and mobile food sites as well that distribute the food to the individuals in need. The easiest way to learn more is to call 211, the state's hotline, 211. Ukraine's military intelligence says that it has hit an important fuel pipeline in the Moscow region that supplies the Russian army. Ukraine is calling it a serious blow to Russia's military logistics. The claim comes amid a sustained Russian campaign of massive drone and missile attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure that has brought power outages and restrictions across the country. The stepmother of a man who accuses her of holding him captive at her Waterbury home for 2 decades appeared in court Friday. Kimberly Sullivan's defense team will now have access to the medical records, new name, and address pertaining to the man known publicly by the initial S. He set fire to their home in February in an attempt to escape. Firefighters found him weighing 68 pounds. Attorneys for S argued against the move, saying that he's terrified of Sullivan. Sullivan's defense attorney is John Kaloidis.
I'm not even going to tell her the address. She doesn't need to know it for her own personal self. But if I need to discuss it with her, I should have that option.
The judge also mentioned a plea deal could be offered, something Kaloidis says the defense won't accept unless it means the case is being tossed out. Sullivan is to appear in court again on December 19th. In local hoops news, UConn men's basketball senior Terrace Reed Jr. has been named to the preseason watch list for the 2026 Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award. That award is presented annually by the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame to the nation's top center. Reed Jr. enters his second season at UConn, primed for a huge jump following a 2024-2025 campaign that netted him the Big East Sixth Man Award. He was named preseason first-team All-Center after averaging 9.6 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 1.6 blocks in 19.9 minutes per game a season ago. The St. Louis native, rated as one of the nation's most efficient boardmen, ranking top 12 nationally in both offensive rebounding percentage and defensive rebounding percentage as well.
WTIC weather.
Partly sunny for today, a little bit on the blustery side, the high 56, and when you factor in the wind, it's going to feel like the 40s much of the time, so we will need to bundle up a little bit as we turn the clocks back tonight. We'll dial the wind back a little bit as well. Partly cloudy, down to 35. A lot of outlying spots, though, dipping below the freezing mark. So definitely starting out on the chilly side for tomorrow. but we'll rebound to 55 with a good deal of sunshine. Then another chilly night for tomorrow night. Monday, some sun given way to clouds. There could be a shower or two during the afternoon and evening, a high up to 58. And then Tuesday, it'll be blustery again, but we'll have a good deal of sunshine, the high 57. Wednesday doesn't look too bad. Times of clouds and sun, the high 56. And we could see a couple of showers as we head into Wednesday night. And then we should dry out again later in the week. This is meteorologist John Feerick in the WTIC Weather Center.
And I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News. Computer Talk with Tab is back next.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This special alert is for all Americans who own a vehicle. If you have a warranty that's about to expire or no warranty coverage at all, this message is for you. It's time to stop worrying about future car repairs today. Your vehicle is essential, but unexpected breakdowns can derail your plans and your wallet. It's time to future-proof your ride with CarShield. CarShield offers a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that saves drivers thousands from out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Imagine if your engine quits or your transmission fails. You could pay a fraction of the repair cost. This protection plan is at an all-time low, and to give you even more peace of mind, drivers who activate today also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Don't wait for a breakdown to drain your savings. Future-proof your car with CarShield today and drive with confidence. Call CarShield for your free quick quote. Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. What do you have to lose? Call 800-908-8646. That's 800-908-8646. Again, 800-908-8646.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
This is WTIC's Computer Talk with Tab, hosted by Eric Semmel and Dennis Halnon of Tab Computer Systems. Interact with Eric and Dennis by phone at 860-522-9842 or email them in the studio at gethelp@tabinc.com. Get help anytime at computertalkwithtab.com. Now, here are Eric and Dennis on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And good morning. This is Computer Talk with Tab. I'm Eric.
And I'm Dennis.
And we will be here until 11 o'clock, and we are lucky enough to have on the line right now our energy expert, Peter Kelly Detweiler. Hey, Peter.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Good to have you on here. Peter, right on his LinkedIn, he makes energy understandable. That's one of the reasons I was so excited.
He does that very well.
Yeah. So
thank you.
We're happy to have you. We missed you last weekend. We were worried about you, but we got you here this morning. So that we're all happy about. The audience was like, "Where's Peter?" But we're happy to have you. So energy and data centers. So when we had you on before, you were talking about I wanted to find out if you could explain energy to us and how a data center might increase our costs, because here in Connecticut, there's some in the legislature that want to make us some sort of mecca of data centers, which to me is lunacy considering our electric costs and how it probably will increase our prices. And then we discussed how data centers and IT, big tech in general, is considering just building their own power. Like SMRs are becoming a thing, and having natural gas generation right there on site is becoming a thing. So why don't we start with how a data center might build their own nuclear power, Peter?
Yeah, sure. So what's going on is there's this tremendous future demand, and it could be 10% of current U.S. demand by 2030. It could be 15%. Nobody really knows quite what the number is going to be, but we see announcements almost every single day of some new 1,000-megawatt, giga-scale computer. And to put that in perspective, the Millstone plant in Connecticut, the nuclear unit, is like 1,000 megawatts, and New England usually peaks out at, say, 25,000 megawatts at its peak demand for the year. So a single 1,000 megawatts matters. Now, with these nuclear plants, what's going on is, or I should say, with the data centers that want to supply their own power, their challenge for them is they can't connect to the grid fast enough because the utilities, well, they haven't seen any demand growth for two decades, and they move pretty slowly because they're risk averse. And if you think about it, you want to build a new transmission line, good luck. Takes you 10 years to get it permitted, and then another 3 to 5 years to get it built.
Just a line.
And new generation, same sort of thing.
Oh boy.
So a lot of data centers are saying, look, the value of the next kilowatt hour to us is huge because they kind of do the Rumpelstiltskin thing, and instead of spinning straw into gold, they spin electrons into valuable data, which they turn into information.
Right.
So what they're doing is saying, look, if we can't connect to the power lines, then what we'll do is we'll build our own generation.
Yeah.
And so many of them are doing just that. Some are buying fuel cells from companies like Bloom Energy. Full disclosure, I do own a little bit of stock in them. In fact, GE just announced in their most recent earnings call that by 2030, the orders that they have on the books right now, a third of the orders are not from utilities or from from airlines. They are from data center companies that want to connect to gas pipelines and hook those up to generators and supply the data centers directly.
30%.
One challenge. Now,
That's
one challenge
big.
with that is, but think about it though.
Yeah.
So you got this. You got this data center, and now you hook up the gas and you put a generator there. Well, no gas generator runs 100% of the time forever. They need to go down for maintenance after X number of hours.
Right.
So what then? You've spent this multi-billion-dollar investment in these data centers, and now your plant's out for maintenance. So what's really happening a lot of times is what they call bridging strategies. The data center companies want access to the power right now, but they know that they're going to need some kind of backup. So what the strategy now that's emerging is many of them are saying, oh, we'll hook up directly to these generating assets, but we want to be connected to the grid eventually because we'll use the grid as our backup.
Right.
Now, what that means from a power planning perspective is the grid needs to still have all the available capacity, the power plants and the infrastructure to serve those data centers at their sort of so-called convenience.
Yeah.
So then the question is, who bears all those costs?
Well, my contention would be the data centers, right? You want to do all this, and supposedly all your AI in your data center has such value that as far as the regulatory agencies, they should be having them pay the premium, not the ratepayers. It's always the ratepayers that get hooked for this stuff.
Correct.
And whether it's a bank failure, it's the taxpayers, whether it's whatever it is, it has to be those who want to risk it should be risking it, not the rest of us. We should benefit from it.
I would agree. If they drive the marginal costs,
They should pay
on the demand side, they should pay for it. Now, but here are some data points that are suggesting that's not yet the case. There are some efforts being made to inoculate the ratepayers from this, and perhaps the best one so far is Evergy, which is a utility out in Kansas City, Missouri, I think, if my memory serves. And they have a contract that says, okay, data centers, you want to connect to us, to the utility, you have to sign a 15-year contract. 17-year contract, which obligates you to specify the quantities of power you want and pay for it, irrespective of whether you ever take it.
I agree. That makes good sense.
Right. Now, what's happening for the most part, though, let's turn our attention to our neighbors to the south. The Mid-Atlantic Power Pool, PJM. What they do there is they have an auction, kind of like we do in New England. They have an auction for the ability to supply power 3 years in the future, typically. This auction was it was put off and put off and put off. So basically, this year they had the auction for 2026, 2027 delivery years starting next May. Okay, so the last two auctions, they've spent more than $32 billion for steel in the ground, for the ability to generate power. You with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the independent market monitor who looks at the markets, it's a third-party economics firm that reports to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They said if you were to strip out the existing data centers, of which there aren't that many, because not that many have been built, and the ones that are in the forecast for PJM, for the Mid-Atlantic Power Pool, those costs would drop by $16 billion, about half. So
Wait a
what
minute.
they're saying is...
Serious?
Yeah. Yep. So what they're basically saying is all these other consumers are paying over 2 years $16 billion of costs that, in many cases, those data center forecasts won't even materialize by 2026, 27, because it takes a long time to build these things. So and I've done the numbers on this. These costs for capacity, they represent more than 25% of the total wholesale bill.
For everybody? For every ratepayer?
Everybody, for every ratepayer. Not the delivery charges, not the wires and poles that bring the power to us, but the energy and the capacity part, the competitive power market part. So, so for anybody who's saying, oh, let's bring data centers into our markets, well, the answer is not so fast unless you are sure you can create a regulatory structure that protects everybody else. And even if we go back to that issue with Evergy, so you have a 17-year contract. Well, let's assume the world changes a lot in 17 years. Maybe the chips get more efficient. Maybe, right? Maybe there's not that much need. Well, the assets you're building, the wires and the poles and the power plants to serve those things, they last a minimum of 30 to 40 years. So there's a risk still 17 years from now of what's called stranded assets, where all these customers are paying for these supply assets and wires and poles that don't have a home, that don't have demand for them in the future. So it's a pretty significant risk from the utilities perspective, even a decade and a half out, in a world that's really, really uncertain right now.
Sure. So that will, but if they've at least made the data centers pay that 17-year coverage, the rest of us don't have to deal with it. I frankly don't care about the risk to the utilities. If they're going to get paid, they win. If we've got a bunch of lines out there that nobody uses, that's fine. Having more infrastructure and more capacity is, I don't know, you don't have to be the sharpest tack in the drawer. It's obvious that risk is low as far as versus not having the infrastructure, Peter. We've always had an issue of lack of infrastructure. You look at Massachusetts, the governor up there was talking about how she stopped 2 natural gas pipelines. I've seen videos of her talking about how I stopped 2 gas pipelines. We need natural gas to come and power our homes and heat our homes. So when that kind of leadership is doing these weird things, the idea that you're going to pay 17 years for all of it up front makes good sense to me. And it keeps us protected as ratepayers. We are not going to be we shouldn't be on the hook for this, period.
Right. So let's take a look at that gas pipeline issue for one moment, though.
Well, before you do, Peter, can we take a quick break? Because we have to take a quick break.
Sure.
We'll get back and talk about that issue. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
All right, we're talking with Peter Kelly Detweiler. He helps you understand electricity, makes it more simple and understandable. That's his job, and we're looking forward to chatting with him more. But I'll be right back.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how retailers become constantly connecting must-visit shops. How restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get started with our reliable business internet. Plus, stay connected when you add Wi-Fi backup for just $35 a month and ask about a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Wireless Connect requires business internet for additional monthly charge. Taxes and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer ends 11/16/25.
The law firm of Brown, Panderas, and Scott remind you it's time to fall back. Set your clocks back 1 hour before you go to bed tonight.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-848-2299. 800-848-2299. Again, that's 800-848-2299.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From the Carter Mario Injury Lawyer Studios, visit getcarter.com.
That's getcarter.com. This is Computer Talk.
And we are back. And Peter Kelly Detweiler is with us. And we're talking energy, data centers, because Dennis and I have no idea. We're just geeks. We're just a couple of humble geeks. Pasty white computer geeks sitting here trying to figure out how we're going to keep our computers warm and running. And Peter's going to explain the energy for us. He helps you understand energy. We have links to his sites and his LinkedIn if you want to follow him. He's got these great things. He puts out these videos on a regular basis, making this understandable. And we really need to understand it to hold our politicians accountable for the decisions they make. And speaking of that we were going to a break. We were talking a little bit about the pipelines that were kind of stopped in Massachusetts by the governor, and Peter wanted to talk about that. So what do you got there, Peter, on that?
Sure. One of the challenges of the economics of gas pipelines is this. So if you think about it today, we definitely have some periods during which we could use more gas, especially in the winter. There could be a half a dozen days when it's really, really cold, where we don't have enough gas capacity in the pipelines, and we have to choose between heating our homes and running our power plants. So typically then the power plants may switch over to oil, where we often store millions of gallons of oil in dual fuel generators for those cold days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now let's think about, okay, so we bring another pipeline in, right?
Yep.
By definition, given today's demand, there are not that many days. It's not like you would fill up the pipeline with demand 24/7 immediately, probably not for quite some time. So you'd be adding all this additional capacity that would be very lightly used, except for the periods when you really need it. And so what that would mean is you're paying for all this additional infrastructure, but if you look at the entire infrastructure, you would lower the capacity utilization factor of the whole thing because you just added more of it, and it's not like you're loading it up fully right away.
Well, what about...
So that could increase the delivery cost to everybody.
Yeah, but what about, so I understand you can sell energy from anywhere. I used to be buying my energy from Texas, right? I can choose where I want it. So why can't, if we build the capacity, if you build it, they will come. Why can't you then offer energy to the data center areas of the world that don't have it, right? So you sell your energy on the grid to them. I mean, why is that not a thing?
Okay, because you can't actually buy energy from Texas. And the reason why you can't is there's limited transmission capability. If we had unlimited wires and poles in the country, then we could buy electricity from anywhere and we'd have line losses. Like, for example, if you take power from the 10,000 megawatt facility up in Great Bay in northern Quebec and you bring it down through Quebec and then drive it into New England and then drop it down to the distribution lines, you lose about 8% of the total energy in it.
All right.
But the real challenge is we have limited transmission across the country. So between New York and New England, there's only some interties right there. Between Quebec and New England, there's only some interties, and that's how it kind of works. So oftentimes what happens, Eric, is let's say you have 1,000 megawatts of demand in a city.
Yep.
And you can access, because you have enough transmission, you can access 500 megawatts of power at, say, $20 a megawatt hour, but you only have 500 megawatts of transmission capacity. So now you have to go and reach out to other more expensive generation someplace else where you can get the transmission to it. Maybe that's $30 a megawatt hour.
Yep.
So the difference, that $10 a megawatt hour, that's referred to as congestion. And this country pays billions of dollars every year in congestion costs because of limited transmission capability. And that's the real problem. It's not, I mean, gas pipelines, yes, but the real challenge in this country right now, and why the data centers can't get the energy they want, and why we're seeing higher prices, is we don't have enough wires and poles. And the reason we don't have enough wires and poles is because they cross state lines. And so let's say you want to bring power from state A across B and C to D.
Yep.
And if B and C don't get any power, they do the Heisman. They say, "Not across my backyard, you don't."
They do the Heisman.
Right?
That's a great way to look at it. Yes. Yes.
And so the feds now are working to permit that. But I'll give you one example. There was a pipeline in New Mexico to Arizona called the Sunzia Line. 3,000 megawatts of wind was to be delivered.
Yeah.
It took 17 years, 10 federal agencies, 5 state agencies, and a number of, local agencies all involved in the permitting process.
Wow, we suck.
So this is
that's
this
awful.
Is what has to get
That's
unstuck.
awful. Yeah. That's bureaucratic baloney. Here in Connecticut, I remember this in the early 2000s. I brought it up last show. There was a connected line that they wanted to go from Connecticut. It was called a cross sound something over to New York.
Yep.
And our attorney general at the time, now Senator Blumenthal, fought against having just a line to connect from Connecticut to New York because of seafloor shell bed issues is what he was using. But there's a great example. 20 years ago, we were trying to put a line we couldn't get our attorney general on board. Now we've got windmills in the ocean with lines up the wazoo. Why? What happened to the seafloor? I guess that wasn't an issue. What kind of baloney is going on here, Peter? Where you've got attorneys general blocking this type of connectivity that 20 years ago was something they were trying to do, and we still don't have it now. It just seems like we're doing it to ourselves, man.
We are, but I mean, here's another example. There was a line that's meant to bring electricity from Iowa to Illinois.
Yeah.
And it was all approved, and the federal loan was lined up, and it was, and even Missouri was going to get some power in it. Then Josh Hawley steps in, the senator, and says, "Nope, this isn't happening." Then the loan got revoked. So here's the challenge in a democratic society.
Yeah.
Like in China, you basically could just move everybody out of the way and put the lines through, like they're doing with the new hydro dam.
Yeah.
In this country, everybody has some rights, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. We're not saying we agree.
But Eric,
Yeah.
you or I want to be the farmer that all of a sudden says, "Hey, too bad your family's farmed on this land for 200 years. We're invoking eminent domain, and we're going to put a pipeline through your property or transmission lines across your land." Right. Ultimately, we have to do that as a society if we want to power our society. But it means some people will lose for the greater benefit of everyone else. And then the question is, how do we fairly compensate them? And that, of course, becomes a very thorny issue.
Well, I agree with you. So eminent domain was a big issue here in Connecticut. We did some stuff in Groton that didn't even come to fruition. But you're right. Yeah. So we were just talking about this, Dennis and I, off air. The railroads, right? You and I, as ratepayers, didn't do anything for those railroads, and somehow they figured out how to get a railroad across the country. Same thing with AT&T and the telegraph. We have to work together and figure this out, and it can't take 17 years of permitting and bureaucrats to get from point A to point B. It should be understood some basics should be understood. So you have time to stick around with us, Peter? I love talking about this topic.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to step out for a break for news. So go ahead, Peter, get a cup of coffee, 5 minutes of news and spots, and then we'll be back around 10:35. We'll talk more energy with Peter Kelly Detweiler. He's the guy who can explain it to you and help you understand what's going on. So at least when you talk to a politician, you can say, hey, can you do it faster than 17 years? Everything we've talked about has been posted over at computertalkwithtab.com. And we'll be right back after this.
And now, a WTIC news update.
10:30 Hartford, temperature is 53 degrees. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News. The Trump administration faces a 5 o'clock Monday afternoon deadline to respond to federal judges ruling that food SNAP benefit funding SNAP benefits has to continue in a government shutdown, which is now in its 32nd day. Connecticut Food Share says whatever happens with the legality of SNAP and that particular case, it's working to make food available across Connecticut for federal workers and SNAP benefit receivers in need. Learn more about pantries and distribution by calling the state's hotline. That's 211. We're learning an investigation is underway following a quadruple shooting that killed one and injured three others at the corner of Church and Center Streets in New Haven earlier this morning. No other details are available. A judge is allowing Kimberly Sullivan and her defense. She's the woman accused of holding her stepson captive for nearly 20 years until he set fire to her home to be rescued, to have access to his new name, address, and medical records. The defense argued it was necessary to prepare for a trial, while the state argued that the victim is terrified of Sullivan and should be protected. More than half of Jamaica remains without power as the slow and painful process of recovery from Hurricane Melissa continues. And the Dodgers topped the Blue Jays 3-1 last night, forcing a World Series Game 7 tonight up in Toronto.
WTIC weather.
Partly sunny for today, blustery, the high 56, and partly cloudy for tonight, less wind. Definitely on the chilly side, down to 35. The chilly start for tomorrow, and we'll have plenty of sunshine, the high up to 55. And Monday, some sun given way to clouds. Perhaps a shower during the afternoon and evening, the high up to 58. This is meteorologist John Feerick in the WTIC Weather Center.
For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's the last half hour of Computer Talk with Tab next. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Glenn Zinn, the IS manager at Luxbond & Green, truly appreciates the service he receives from Tab Computer Systems.
I think responsiveness to any problem that we have, whether that be a broken printer or setting up new computers or a quote for a new computer. I've never really had a problem getting information or getting somebody to help me out.
Tab takes responsiveness very seriously.
I think that's one of the really good things at Tab. The people from the person you call, or I use the customer portal to send a service message, I get responses right away. So there is good coordination with the staff, and everybody's just so professional and nice.
Fast response from professional and nice people. Trust Tab's nearly 4 decades of experience. Call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, or visit tabinc.com.
I would definitely recommend Tab to any other small businesses in Connecticut. The professionalism has been wonderful throughout the years.
Technology is advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Peter L. Brown Roofing is celebrating 65 years of trusted service in Connecticut, and to thank the community, they're giving away a brand new roof valued up to $12,500. Enter for your chance to win an Atlas Pinnacle roofing system with Scotchguard Protector from 3M, designed for durability and beauty. Visit odyssey.com/WTICAM to enter today. See website for contest rules. Peter L. Brown Roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Peter L. Brown, we do it right the first time.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and email receipt site for additional credit.
I wish that I could fly.
All right. We are back. You gotta love this AI generated music. And we're on with Peter Kelly Detweiler. So Peter, we're using data center energy here to produce these tunes, to play these tunes. We're talking to our energy expert, and as far as what's going on with how these data centers are going to exist, you talked a little bit about these data centers don't have access to the infrastructure, and the 17-year idea where they're going to prepay for it, build the infrastructure because they can't, we can't have it put on us. In Mexico, there's a huge area of data centers that are just using literally natural gas generation. That's in generators that are just sitting there powering these big data centers, and that's another way to deal with the lack of infrastructure, right?
Yes, it is. One challenge, though, is if you want a gas-fired generator now, good luck. They're typically GE, for example, Siemens, Mitsubishi. They're the big three that make them.
Yep.
They're typically taking orders now for the 2030 period. One Kentucky utility just had to put down a deposit of $25 million just to pay to play.
Wow.
And the turbine costs have tripled in the last, say, 3 or 4 years because, steel's more expensive, but we're in an inflationary environment. Yeah. That's the other thing is, because of all this data center demand, we already saw an inflationary environment after COVID, but the cost of transformers, of transmission-grade steel in transformers, in power lines for copper, everything's going up, and so we're just seeing the cost of everything associated with moving an electron get more expensive, and we're also seeing delays of years for transformers and many, many years now for new turbines. So it's not a problem that gets solved overnight.
Right. BlackRock is also investing heavily in energy and data centers. I've seen it's been something in the news quite a lot. And so if we truly have an AI, if we may have an AI bubble, which I suspect we do and others do as well, again, there's always the contrarian that says, oh, no, we're going to crank it through. Let's say the AI bubble pops. What do you think is going to happen with energy then? Just assuming this is a .com thing all over again. I don't think it'll be as big as the .com bubble bursting, but I do think it might be a lot of over-exuberance, a lot of money being thrown in the wrong directions. What might happen to energy if this AI bubble pops?
Well, the first thing that would happen to energy if the AI bubble popped is you'd have fewer data centers. But then if you think about the gains on the S&P and how almost all of that is being driven by NVIDIA and the magnificent, 7?
Yeah, 7 stocks.
I would actually disagree with your thesis. I think if the bubble pops, this makes 08, 09 look like a picnic.
Oh.
Because
a bigger bit. Okay. All right.
Oh, because they're all invested in each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so much circular investment right now that if a piece of the chain breaks, it kind of reminds me of back in the Enron debacle. When Enron failed, I was in the energy business, and what happened was Company A was buying power from Company B that had bought it from Company C, D, E, and F. It was the same 200 megawatts that was just sold on and on and on.
Yep.
And once the chain broke, it broke. And so, if at some point people go, wait a minute, we're spending $500 billion plus this year in data centers. And that means pretty soon we're going to have to create $500 billion worth of value every year. And if we don't see that and people start to, get spooked by this, because it's definitely an exuberant stage right now, then you could see, like I saw some analyst the other day said Sam Altman could be responsible for the biggest economic growth in the history of the world, or he could Stone Age the economy for a decade. And we don't really know, but the stakes are really high right now.
See, I hate those extremes. That would be like Sam Altman was responsible for just a moderate improvement or a moderate decrease. It's always Stone Age, or it's always these big swings.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. But what we're seeing in terms of the levels of investment driving the economy, and if you took it away, how tepid our economic growth would be, and the impacts on the power grid, I think you could see a situation like we saw after 08-09 where demand actually declined and went negative for a little while on the power grid, where there'd be plenty of supply available for everybody because you see this big economic slowdown. This is a huge economic gamble, and it may pay off handsomely, or we may go, once again, we invested in sock puppets trying to sell us pet food, and it didn't really pay off the way we thought it was going to. Now,
yes, that is a good example, Peter.
Now, and I always say to people, like, at the end of the day, only some of these companies will survive.
Right.
And if you don't believe me, ask Jeeves.
Yes, that's a good one too. Yeah, I was invested in a few things. I heard broadband was going to be a thing, and I can't remember even the company I invested in, but they didn't make it. But broadband is a thing. So you're right. So you're worried that this could be a bigger issue if the AI bubble pops. So you've got all these states that are investing in data centers. They're trying to get these companies to come to their states. Again, Connecticut, it just cracks me up that we're trying to do it here. We've got Bloomfield's trying to come up with some sort of data center deal. You're looking at these generators that are going to be running, but you're saying you can't even get them. That noise involved with all of that, and just the other aspects of data centers, not only the power, there's lots of negativity. Again, I'm a geek. I love the idea of data centers as long as I'm not going to be harmed by them financially.
Right. Now, I think your long-term thesis, look, are we becoming homo digitus? Well, absolutely. Is our evolution that we're tying electrons increasingly as the best fuel to compute capability, which will drive our economies? Absolutely. The question is, are we doing this like way too fast and throwing too much stupid money at it? Right? Ultimately, the same way Google became the search engine and the web triumphed and everyone uses it, yes, that's foreordained. It's just a question of how much pain there is along that road, So, and at the end of the day, with all the data center announcements out there, we know we're seeing all kinds of phantom load. There are estimates that 1 in 3 or even 1 in 10 of what's announced will eventually get built. And why is because it's the same thing that happened on the supply side. You have a developer that has, let's say, only $1 billion to spend. And they know they can't connect to the wires and poles really quickly anywhere. So what they do is they put 2 projects in Pennsylvania, 1 in Texas, 1 in California, and 2 in Utah. And if one of them moves through faster than the other one, they pull all the other chips off the board. Same thing's happening with data centers, guaranteed right now, because speed to power is the thing that's driving everything. So there are developers that are putting multiple interconnection applications everywhere in hopes that 1 or 2 here will move faster, and then they'll pull the other ones.
Gotcha.
Now, what some utilities are now saying, if you want to play 1,000 megawatts, you got to spend $5-6 million in the application process.
So that makes sense, because if you give all these fake deals that are causing all that phantom generation, how do you even plan for it? Then you've got all these. Oh my goodness!
You can't plan for it. In Texas is now the epicenter of growth. Let me give you 2 statistics. 1. In August of 2023, they reached their peak demand, 85,500 megawatts. 2, right now they're looking at 200,000 megawatts of large load applications, of which about 75 to 80% of that are data centers.
Wow.
Those 2 facts are not compatible with each other.
Right. So then there's a problem in the application. Yeah, there's a problem in the application process. You have to make it painful so that people don't submit these fake applications hoping for one to pop faster. What you just laid out there is just lunacy. So we bureaucratically created a problem because you know that it could take 17 years for something to happen in this state versus 7 years in this state versus 4 years in that state. So you're creating all this phantom generation. We're doing it to ourselves again. It's the regulatory process that's causing this type of ridiculousness.
Right. Although to be fair, it wasn't November of 2023 when ChatGPT 3.0 came out and everyone said, "Whoa,
right.
There's something real here." And then the numbers just exploded in the last 6 to 8 months. The numbers have just been crazy. So to be fair, there's a process that has to be developed for something. It's almost like aliens landed on the planet and suddenly we have to figure out our defense infrastructure against them. Like, it happened so fast that we don't have the planners, we don't have the computer models, we don't have the infrastructure even to deal with all these interconnection requests.
And look at the water issue too, Peter. I mean, the amount of water that is consumed. You would think these data centers wouldn't continue to use the same water. I mean, the new water. They should be using the same water, recirculate, deal with ways of not gulping down so much water to keep it cool.
Yeah, a lot of it's still evaporative.
I didn't know that.
Once you get to racks, though, so your typical data center a couple of years ago would have 6 to 12 kilowatts in a rack.
Mm-hmm.
Now you often see racks at 100 kW, and they're planning for megawatt scale racks. Now, what that means with these GPUs, with the graphics processing units, whether it's NVIDIA, AMD, or the Tensor chips from Google, they all generate a ton of heat.
Yeah.
So once you get to around 100 kW per rack, they have to be liquid cooled.
Yeah.
So you put them in a dielectric fluid, and that pulls the heat away faster. But it still doesn't solve the problem. How do you dissipate the heat out of that liquid? That eventually has to, take place outside the facility, and usually involves water in some way, shape, or form, as I understand it. So, the water issue is one we have to figure out. But there are engineering ways of taking waste heat and turning it into cooling, surprisingly.
Oh, I believe that. I mean, I don't know the physics behind it, but that does make sense. You were telling us of other energy storage that blew my mind last time you were on here. Before we go to another break, Elon Musk, I don't know if you saw this, talked about how Tesla cars could be part of the actual data center itself. They could actually be the compute because they have so much processing power, I guess, within the cars themselves. So imagine distributing all this away from a massive building and actually asking the cars to be smart enough to become their own mobile data center, but it's completely distributed. Have you heard any of that?
Well, SETI's been doing that. The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence has been doing that concept for years.
They really have. So, yep.
So in theory, you could do that. The question is, what would you use it for? And you wouldn't use those cars for large language models because those have to be closer together, but you could potentially use it for inference, for what you do with the models once you actually have that working brain, and now you're just processing information in real time and coming up with new ideas as a consequence. So in theory, something like that could eventually be built out in the future, just not right now.
So, Peter, we're going to take another break. Can you let us know what you're working on energy-wise after we come back from the break?
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to take a quick break with Peter Kelly Detweiler talking energy. We want you to be geeks, but we want to also understand how electricity works because clearly the state doesn't know, and Peter's going to help us. We'll be right back.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen.
I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248. When you call, you'll get free information. Free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-587-1248. That's 800-587-1248 today.
That is not Kenny G. That's a computer. Let's go to back to Peter Kelly Detweiler on the line. And so, Peter, you're always talking about energy on your LinkedIn site. You have these great videos. What energy topic or thing are you working on that our listeners might be interested in?
Yeah, so I'm actually working on a book proposal right now about the failure of the Texas grid in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually, the working title is The Darkest of Skies, and it'll be, so, what happened in that was it got really cold. They had huge demand for electricity to warm houses, etc., and gas coming into the generators froze into the pipelines, even as the wind turbines froze up and there was snow on the solar panels.
Oh, wow.
But the biggest issue was the gas failing. Oh, and also there was a water-based valve in a nuclear plant that froze, so they had to turn the nuke down because they couldn't see it.
Are you kidding me?
What? No, so basically, yeah, and our grid runs at 60 hertz. That's like a heartbeat.
Yep.
If you drop down below 59.4 hertz, which is oscillations of power back and forth per second in our AC grid, stuff breaks. So they were about 4.5 minutes away from grid failure. So what did they do? They basically shed load, cut people's power supplies, and you typically rotate that power from one location to the next to the next.
Yeah.
But as more and more power plants tripped offline, they couldn't do that. They just had to leave places without power for 3 days. So over 200 people died. Yeah. And think about, and then, of course, the economic damage, all these pipes froze in people's homes, so there was billions and billions of dollars worth of, drywall destroyed, electronics ruined, houses ruined, right?
Yeah.
So tons of people killed. But here's the part most people don't know. When you have, and so the grid operator said another 4.5 minutes and we would have seen the failure. Now, once you get into a dark sky event where everything's down, the way you jumpstart the grid again is you have these little diesel units that sit next to the larger generators, and you turn them on, and you jumpstart the big units, and they're synchronized to find the other so-called black start units, and then you suture the grid back together. We haven't had to do it for years, since like the 2003 first energy outage that took out the whole East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But after the event, they went and audited the black start units, Eric.
Yeah.
2/3 of them didn't work.
Surprise, surprise, disaster recovery, not tested.
Okay, so now what does that mean? Now take the 9th largest economy in the world, also one of the most heavily armed populations in the country, and strip it of all community. Now, right?
Yeah.
Take electricity and no electricity for, say, a month.
Oh, that would freak people out. That'd freak people out.
Oh, and no communication, right? Because cell phones go down. So now everybody's in the dark for a month.
With their guns.
And, and you've got no gas for fertilizer for the spring coming into the Midwest because no gas flows out of Texas and goes to the places where they make the fertilizer. No LNG gets shipped offshore. So you would have taken and essentially ripped the 9th largest economy in the world out of the equation for a month.
Yikes.
So think what that would have done for the global economy.
Oh, massive issues, massive
So
disruption.
that's what I'm writing the book about.
Nice. Well, it sounds like it's going to be freaky and scary based on a real world environment. But to have all those diesel generators not work, I mean, come on, man. And the other thing about the frozen valve into a nuclear power plant, how do you not make sure that that's below grade? I mean, I don't understand the basics. We didn't think it was going to get cold.
Yeah. You're right. They didn't think it was going to get that cold, and they didn't weatherize the gas plants. And in fact, they'd had a similar event in 2013 where the feds came in afterwards and said, you need to do this, this, and this, and this, including weatherizing a lot of the gas infrastructure, and they didn't have it. And here's one last thing that'll make your head spin.
Yeah.
When they started shutting off the power because they needed to maintain the frequency.
Yeah.
One thing they had never coordinated was between the gas sector and the electric sector where the compressor stations were. So they started shutting down electricity to where the compressor stations were, so then less gas flowed into the system because they shut the power off to it.
So this, I mean, obviously we learn a lot from failure, right? That's how most people learn from failure.
The ones who are still alive, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Katrina, right? The levees.
Yeah.
They should have been reinforced for decades. They weren't. This is the thing government's supposed to be doing. This is where all 17 years of regulation to not get something done is supposed to be helping you keep it and maintained. So in your book, are you going to talk about obviously there's regulatory failure here and the obviousness of this going on, but to have 17 years to put something in, to then not have the proper regulation in place to actually maintain the diesel generators, if you had an issue. I mean, disaster recovery planning, all this kind of stuff, that's what we as citizens are assuming government's doing primarily, right? We're assuming they're working to maintain the system and maintain its quality, but clearly it's not the case. In almost every case you talk about these failures, government's not working on that stuff. They can barely know where their elbow and their butts are.
It's true to some degree, but then, of course, when you do set up the regulatory regimes, right?
Yeah.
Most people only work to the minimum level of whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so, and they start to perform to the test instead of trying to perform to what's required.
Right. Well, again,
really required.
I was a part of the water department in Southington. We flush the hydrants on a regular basis because if you don't, you're going to build up sediment. Turn on the diesel generator for every now and again is a basic maintenance requirement for any kind of generation. To have 2/3 of them, you said, not come on?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay, now one other happy fact for you is I did some. So I wrote a paper for General Wesley Clark and a team on all the different ways you could take down the grid and then what would happen.
Oh boy!
And when I started to do the research into the plans that Washington has and other states for what happens if you do have a dark sky event, guess what? There's nobody in charge.
Oh brother!
We haven't figured out the jurisdictional issues of is it National Guard? Who does what?
Gotcha.
We don't have really good planning for that. And partly it's because of this failure imagination thing. It was the same thing they pointed out after 9/11. It's the same thing they pointed out after the space shuttle explosion. There's a failure to imagine a worst-case scenario, and then we get complacent over time that, yesterday is going to be like today is going to be like tomorrow. And when things break, it's not. And that requires a certain level of paranoia and vigilance that humans aren't really good at maintaining day to day.
Right. Like Salt Typhoon, where the Chinese are actually getting involved in our infrastructure. They are. They do think that way. They do think 100 years, 500 years. The Israelis and what they did with the beepers, they are thinking that way. So we can think ahead and have that imagination because Salt Typhoon has happened. We just don't know to what extent. And if they read your paper, Peter, which I hope they didn't, they went and read Peter's paper and put all their potential shutoffs within whatever you told them to do. So I'm just kidding. But, I mean, it's out there, right? Yeah. So this stuff is happening. The FBI is warned about it. I don't want to be some doomsdayer either. But the failure of imagination really is how we end up with these big problems. And to failure to imagine to not even turn on the generator is not even that. It's just incompetence.
Right. But of course then when you integrate AI into everything so that you even have music for your own show, right?
Yeah.
We increase the level of our vulnerability every time we hook up another thing to an algorithm.
You're right. But we're hoping, Peter, that when we ask AI what the answer to the question of why the universe exists, was it 39 is the answer or something like that? 42. That was close. We'll be able to ask AI how to prevent these things in the future. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, except there's somebody else asking AI how to attack it.
I know. You're right, Peter. Well, we've very much enjoyed our discussion and hope to talk to you again. We'll put links up here for all of Peter's resources, his LinkedIn, his website. He's a great resource for energy. If you want to understand energy better, Peter Kelly Detweiler is the guy to go check out. And thank you very much, Peter, for being on the program.
My pleasure, and sorry I didn't make it last week.
That's okay, sir. All right, bye-bye. All right, folks, we want to thank you all for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed the program. We want to thank you guys for calling in, because without you guys, we're talking about our kids and our cats. I want to thank Matt for producing. We got the big guns in here this morning. We thank him so much. Thank you, Mike G, for posting everything as he always does.
And remember, we want you to be geeks, too.
We'll see you next Saturday.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
11 o'clock Hartford temperature, it is 54 degrees. I'm Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News. 2 federal judges rule that the Trump administration must continue to fund the SNAP food aid program using emergency reserve funds during the government shutdown. Correspondent Willie James Inman is traveling with the president in Palm Beach and says that the president has been posting on Truth Social about the matter.
Essentially saying that lawyers for the administration are going to